All right, welcome to the video. I post a lot on Instagram and TikTok and some YouTube shorts, but I wanted to get on here. I really want to focus more on the long form content, so I figured what a better way to start than do a little shop tour. So yeah, this is the beginning of the channel. I definitely want to focus on longer form build videos. I want to focus on what it's like starting a business, because I'm sure a lot of people, I know myself, when I was getting into this, I wanted to know as much as I could. So I'm definitely going to do some videos on what it's like starting a business and running a cabinet shop and all that. But I think today we'll focus on what I got going on in here, the equipment, and some things I want to change. And yeah, so let's do it. So first and foremost, it's a 2,000 square foot shop. We have an overhead door right there, so our material comes in. The company we order our material from also has a piggyback on the back of the truck, so if it's like a big skid of plywood, I can pull my trailer out and they can drive it right in here and drop it. So it's super convenient in the winter time, especially. So yeah, so all the material comes in, put it in the vertical plywood storage. That's one thing I want to reconfigure because it needs to just be redone. So yeah, but we'll start with this. So my 5 horsepower ICS saw stop table saw, it's incredible. I came from a little bit bigger of a shop. We had an old unisaw in there, and being able to set this place up exactly how I want and get most of the machines that I want to be able to have a good workflow and be competitive with other shops. And I wanted something that was going to last me the rest of my life, and this thing is just incredible. It's heavy duty, it's well built, it's never bogged down once. I've cut 16-quarter mahogany on this and never had an issue. The fence is great, and also the safety feature. But yeah, it's a great saw. So material comes in. Right now we're doing all of our rips on this. So we're ripping a sheet down the middle and then flipping it, and we're double ripping everything and then taking it to the slider, which is built into this island. I got this idea from Northeast Woodworks. He had a similar setup, and it just ended up working out perfect with my space. So we rip everything on here. It either goes on carts or gets shifted on the table, and then we'll bring it around and we could do our cross cuts, and I'll show you that. So this is my Grizzly G0623X slider. It's a 5 horsepower, single phase, 5-foot sliding table saw. It has a scoring blade, a 10-inch blade, and it works out great for what we got going on right now. The scoring blade is, I think, necessary because you don't get that tear out on all your sheets. So this thing's been great. I'm not in love with the saw. It's a little frustrating at times because the fence system. There's one pin that it sits on right here, and then there's a locking knob right here. So when you're in production mode, throwing a bunch of sheets on, cutting up parts for an entire kitchen, when you're even just walking by with cabinets, if you bump this, it goes out of square very easy, and having those 2 positive stops so close together, it goes out of square pretty often, and it's very frustrating. You don't want to walk up to a slider and not be confident in the accuracy. So that's my one complaint with this, and we will be upgrading it very soon. I'm gonna get an 8-foot slider. Originally I thought I wanted a 10-footer, but the reality is I'm not really cutting 10-foot sheets that often. So the 8-foot slider will be just fine, and it'll pretty much just, this island will be flip-flopped. We'll put the slider on that side, bring the saw stop over here, and that's how we'll lay it out. I'll bring you over here to the main dust collector. This is something I got used. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I watched videos about guys starting their own shop, and one thing was a common denominator in all the videos was try and buy as many used machines as you can. And this was one that I found. It's a 5 horsepower dust collector. It's a beast. I've had some issues with it, but overall, it pulls everything from the back end of my shop to here, and it's a beast. I ran everything with just PVC piping because of cost. I would love to do spiral metal ducting, but it just, I was kind of just tied up when I got in here with how much I was spending. So I just ran PVC sewer drain. I was able to get 10-foot lengths for like 20 bucks a piece, and just ran them up, did a drop here for both the table saws, ran across, came down with an elbow, and then ran down to every machine along that wall pretty much. I put blast gates on everything to kind of just get as much power as I could because it is a long run. So, but overall, I've had a few problems with it. Capacitor blew, put a new one in, ran it for 2 weeks, capacitor blew again, replaced it, ended up being a centrifugal switch and a contact plate, which I had no idea about electric motors, and I had to learn real quick about what these things were. So, but it's a powerful machine, and it gets the job done. As we'll just continue down the line this way and go around the shop. So right here, this was another used machine. I got this on Craigslist. Someone was selling it. They had a metalworking shop. I got this for like 400 bucks, and it's pretty much brand new. So if you are starting a shop and you are thinking about buying machines, look on Craigslist, look on Marketplace, because you might be shocked what some people are selling some stuff for. This is a edge sander, jet. We use it when we're making cabinet doors just to sand the edges and clean them up, clean up all the saw marks, or even if we have a face frame that's a little out of square, we need to kind of taper a door. It's nice for that too, because this thing, it can take off a lot of material, so it's good just to make little adjustments like that, not having to pull out the track saw and set up the track, make the cut, hook up the dust collector. So this thing's been great for that. The edges are all super smooth of our doors. Moving on down the line, we have all these clamp racks. These were another thing I bought used from someone. I got all these Bessie parallel clamps, the K-body. They're amazing. They've been great. This is my helper's cabinet for his tools. Moving further down the line, we have our Craig Foreman pocket hole machine. This thing's great. It cuts pocket holes, and we have it built into this cart right here, and it's been great. The shop I came from, we used a Festool domino for all of our face frame joinery, which was great, but it was also extremely time consuming. So every job we would have to domino all the face frames, clamp them up, make sure they're square, set them in clamps, set them to the side, and wait for the glue to dry. With this, it just sped up that process a little bit quicker. And it's a pocket hole, it's got a screw, it's a strong joint. So I'm able to assemble my face frames, put them to the side, and pretty much put them on the cabinet the same day. So this thing has been a great addition to the workflow here. Would I like a Castle pocket hole machine? Yeah, but I don't think I really need it. This thing does the job, and it does it pretty well, so no complaints there. So right here we have the Omal hinge boring machine. It's a pneumatic machine, and it just drills hinge holes. And it has these stops right here, so it's just fast and easy. The shop I came from, we did everything on a drill press, so we would drill our 35 millimeter hinge hole on our doors. We would drill them, and then we would have to take either another door or a board, put them on, put the hinges in place, make sure they're lined up, and then screw them on, pilot holes, then put screws. And it was just something that as I was doing it, I'm like, there's gotta be a faster way, because this method is just, it was just one of those tasks that just adds a lot of time onto a job. So this thing, it drills the holes quickly, the head comes down, blows out all the dust of the hole, and then you can also put the hinge on here. So you can also put the hinge on here. It magnets on. We built this little cabinet for it. You can, if you're using this style hinge with these plastic dowels and the little screws, you can press it in right after you drill it. So it has these pneumatic hold downs. It holds the piece down. You can drill it, then you can pop this in, magnets right in, hit the button again, and it'll press it into your door. Lately, we've been using these Salice, these clip top hinges. I've just found they look nicer. I like the Salice hinges. It's what I've used for a long time, and they're just easy, quick and easy. You drill your door, you put your hinge in like this. There we go. Yeah, you drill it, and for whatever reason, this one is a little finicky. There we go. So, pop your hinge in, clip it down, and it's done. So this has been another great addition. Found this used on Craigslist. These machines retail for like anywhere. It's very tough to find like a set price on these, but anywhere from like $2,000 to $5,000. And on the auctions, they always get taken first. So I found this on Craigslist. I got it for like, I think $500, which is just phenomenal for this. We'll just continue down the line to like my miter saw station. Just wanted something kind of organized, something for me to work at every day where everything for the most part has a home. I think that's like an ongoing frustration of mine is we're busy, thank God, but I don't always have time to do shop improvements. But so far, so good. So I built this for all of our edge tape. The rest of it is over there. Clamp rack, and then just pretty much just storage cabinets for miscellaneous stuff, nails, sandpaper, screws. I have a drawer here with just some miscellaneous hand tools, router bits, things like that. But yeah, I have the Capex miter saw. This thing has been great. I love it. I got it because of space. I didn't want to build a huge miter saw station that came out really far. I wanted to just utilize as much space as I could for working. So this thing has been great. I also built this fence with these stops. I pretty much I went to Home Depot. I bought angle iron, screwed it to my top, and bought these fences from woodpeckers. And I was able to get these off Amazon, put these stops on, can flip them out of the way, and they've been great. All my other tools are just stored under here, like a track saw, router, some accessory kits, another small Festool router, and then, yeah, my sanders here. I use the ETS EC 150/5. This is like my baby. If I had a few tools in my shop that I couldn't work without, it would probably be this sander because I absolutely love this thing. I love how it feels in my hand. I love the power, the dust collection, and I have it hooked up to a CT MIDI vacuum with this dust separator on top. The dust separator's been great. It's saved me bags, Yeah, and it's great. I hook it up to my biscuit joiner, my Lamello Zeta, and sometimes when you're shooting plywood or hardwood, those bigger chunks of wood chips would get clogged in the hose or get clogged somewhere in the machine. And having this dust separator has really kind of solved that problem. And that's it for this stuff. I'll bring you around over here. This is our line boring machine. I bought this with the hinge boring machine at the same time. The guy just threw it in for pretty much nothing. It's exactly what I said. It's a line boring machine. It drills a bunch of holes at once. Certain jobs, depending on what the client wants, sometimes they don't want 11 or 13 holes in the sides of their cabinet, but in like a kitchen, it just makes sense to use one of these. We used to, the shop I came from, we did everything. We would just make like a 1/2-inch jig and just drill, and we would use those metal grommets and like a 1/4-inch hole, and I don't know, I didn't really like the look of it. These 5mm holes are definitely much nicer, much cleaner. You don't even see them, and this machine just speeds that up. We're able to drill just a bunch of holes at once. Put your piece in, drill, flip it, drill it, and you're done. Making a jig, drilling each hole individually was another task that was just time consuming that I wanted to eliminate when I moved in here and from just my workflow. So this thing's been great. Haven't had any issues with it. Definitely need some new cutters for it, but it's an older machine, but it gets the job done. Turning the back corner of the shop, this is pretty much just storage of like a graveyard pretty much of machines we don't use. I have these 2 dust collectors and the drill press. Really don't use them anymore. I got to get them up on the loft and get them out of the way because I just want to free up as much space as I can. This is another used machine I got. This is a SCMI Minimax T40 shaper. It's been great. We use it just for our copes of our cabinet doors. So we run all of our linear footage on that big shaper, and then we cut everything to size and cope everything on here. I use this Infinity cutting tools, coping sled. This thing's been great. And yeah, just leaving that set up has been super helpful. I worked at a shop and we had 1 shaper, so we were constantly taking the knives out, putting the other ones in, which was just something that added time onto every project pretty much, and I just wanted to avoid that because I want to be able to produce quickly and to stay competitive, because I don't have a 30,000 square foot shop and 30 guys working, and I need to be able to be competitive and get stuff done pretty quickly. So this has been great, being able to have multiple shapers. So moving on, we have all of our tracks on the wall, and I have this. This is the Festool Contoro KA65 edge bander. Speaking of tasks that slowed us down, edge taping with an iron was one of them that I wanted to try and get away from. One day we'll have like a real edge bander with a glue pot, but right now I needed something that was in my budget and also that wasn't going to take up a ton of real estate, and this really like checked off every box on my list. The table, in my opinion, isn't necessary. It's just convenient for if you have small, like not really wide pieces, because this machine has a big handle on it, and in order to use it manually, you're going to need to build it up. So if you're trying to edge band a small piece, you're going to need to put stops on your bench and add another piece behind it so that base plate can sit on both of them, because it comes out like 5 inches. So I ended up just getting the table because it just made that easier. So the table's been great. The edge bander's been great. A little finicky with bigger cabinet legs. So if I have a full height leg of a cabinet, if it's a gigantic piece, it's just easier to pop this in and out of the table and bring the machine to the workpiece. And that's where you can't really beat it, because even if I get an edge bander, I would still want to keep this, because if we're doing big fridge panels, big doors, you don't want to be bringing a giant heavy piece and dropping it onto your machine and feeding it through. It really beats up the machine. So having this, even if we do get the edge bander down the line, being able to bring the machine to the workpiece is definitely, it's pretty much priceless. So this thing's been great. 3-phase, 5 horsepower South Bend SB 1120 shaper with our Grizzly power feeder on it. This thing's great. Every shaper I looked at in this price range was, I didn't feel comfortable really buying a Grizzly shaper with a plywood fence. I wanted a nice fence because, as anyone knows, with a shaper, it's dangerous, and you need a good fence and really need a good power feeder to keep your hands away from the cutter. So far, this thing has been great. Haven't had issues with it. The other thing I love about this machine is there's variable speed right here with this knob. Other shapers I've worked on, in order to either slow the machine down or speed it up, it was a belt system that you would have to turn the machine off, get down, get inside the cabinet, loosen a tensioner, and move the belt up or down, which was a little annoying, especially if you're running like solid wood like white oak or red oak, and you wanted to either slow the machine down and speed the feeder up. To get it really dialed in, having to move the belt is just a headache. So having the variable speed up here has been great. I could just literally just turn the knob, speed it up. This has a variable speed on it. I can slow it down, whatever the combination is that I'm eliminating tear out on my workpiece. But this machine's been great. This is something I grabbed from one of my neighbors. Haven't got it set up yet. It runs, but it's an old Delta shaper. And so I'm gonna set this up with just this rabbiting bit, just a straight cutter, because I wanna have this set up just to run door panels on. My logic is, if we don't have to take bits out or change the heights and we can leave everything pretty much set up the way it is, that there'll be less mistakes. So having this set just for door panels, and it's always set up, and whenever we need to use it, we just walk over to it, turn it on. That's really what I'm looking for in my shop. My 8-inch Grizzly G0495X jointer. This thing's great. It's not the most powerful machine, but for what we do, making face frames, cabinet doors, milling hardwood that way, this thing gets the job done. I like the fence on it, the adjustments on it. I really don't have many complaints besides it just being a little underpowered for what I want in the future. So that's that. The planer, we have the Grizzly 15-inch helical head G1021X2 planer. It's a solid machine. Haven't really found haven't had any issues with it. The way the shop is set up, it's, as you can see, it's kind of narrow, so I needed to be able to have machines along the wall, so the planer has to get pulled in and out usually when we're going to use it. But both these machines have been great so far. No complaints really with either of them. Like I said, it's a little underpowered, but I'm not making massive doors. I'm not milling big pieces of lumber, so for what I need, it gets the job done. That's pretty much it for the tour. I mean, behind you guys is the garage door, my trailer. I have a 6x12 trailer, works great. And then I have a small office, but I think that's it. I don't know. Nothing really else. If you guys see anything that you want me to make a video on, I'll do that. But yeah, that's really it. I really just want to say thank you to everyone who watches this, and looking forward to trying to grow on YouTube. I love this business. I love this trade, and anything that anyone wants to know, just message me or comment, and I'll fill you in and try and answer your questions as best I can. But yeah, man, I'm just happy to give you guys an inside look at my shop, and that's really it. Thank you.